Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/Swirl Suite. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
All right, good evening, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Swirl Suite. I am Tanisha, Girl Meets Glass. Sarita.
Hey, line me up. I'm here.
And we have a special guest with us this evening. I'm super excited. Friend and colleague and wine connoisseur, educator, entrepreneur, author. We have Miss Regine Rousseau. Regine, hello.
Hey.
Hi. Wait, what time is it in France?
It is 12:30.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, I fall asleep at 10.
Well, and this is an early one for us.
This is an early
this
show.
Is like exciting. This is an early show. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually
Right.
it's about 3. It's about 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
See, I can do that because I always wake up at 3 in the morning.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, but I would need an hour to put on this face.
Well, that is why y'all just got lipstick tonight. All right.
All right.
And I was about to wash my face, and I was like, no, I got a show to do. So like, I can't. I gotta sit here, and I gotta keep my skin matte. And
Right.
put on some lipstick right before we start. Yes. So, Regine, we have you on this evening because you have a book coming out. Can you please, well, first of all, introduce yourselves, tell us about you, and then about your upcoming book.
No, so how long's the show? Because I have a lot to say.
How long, girl? Listen, keep talking. I'll be just like
Right, okay, fall asleep.
I'll be like, got it. Taking notes.
Right. Well, hello, everyone. First of all, thank you guys for having me. Excited. You are the first podcast that I'm doing to talk about the book. So I emailed you first. Absolutely.
Cutting edge. We love it.
Right.
We're breaking news here.
What'd you say?
I said we're breaking news here.
There
Regine got a book. It's coming out. Here we go. I love it.
It's out. No, it's out.
It's out.
Oh, it's out.
I thought you said it wasn't going to be ready till the 8th.
Oh, no. Well, no. I wouldn't have copies to the 8th.
Oh,
okay.
got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is
She
out.
like, I got mine.
You can have yours.
Yay.
We haven't really publicized it, but it's out. So Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. I'm Regine Rousseau. I'm the owner of Shall We Wine. So we are a wine and spirit marketing company. We're a demo company. So basically what that means is when you're out on the weekends and you're grocery shopping or you're at a wine shop and you see people demoing wines, where those people could work with me if you're in Chicago or in Illinois, Wisconsin. Those are the markets that we currently serve. But I am truly a wine enthusiast. So everything that has to do with wine, I have my hands in. I blog, I do videos. I have a wine book. So and we do a lot of events. So my tagline is learn, drink, repeat. And that's what I do. I teach people about wine. I encourage them to drink, and then I encourage them to do it all over again. So that's me.
Fantastic. We love it. So just want to start with a few questions about you in general, and then we'll jump into the book. Okay. How did you get into wine? Like, what was your starting point? What was the thing that you were like, yes, this is it for me. I'm doing it. It's wine.
So this is one of my favorite stories to tell. I studied abroad my senior year in college. So I was in a town called Besançon in France. So if you haven't been to Besançon, have you been?
I have not.
You should go. It's like the cutest. It reminds me of Ann Arbor. It's like Ann Arbor in France.
Cute.
Really cute.
Okay.
So I was an exchange student there. Long story short, I have no idea why, but this host family invited me to dinner. So they had a host daughter in our program as well. So we go to this house, and till this day, it is the most beautiful house I've ever seen. Not the most luxurious, but when you walk in, they had glass walls, and this house was like in the middle of the forest. So, the view is amazing. right? And I walk into this dining room, and there's this long table that it probably seats 8, but in my mind back then it sat like 14, right? It was just enormous. And there are all these bottles on the table, these wine bottles. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I'm 20 years old, I've had a few sips, I'm not going to lie, but I don't really drink wine. And I'm thinking, why are all these bottles here? So the host father owned a wine shop. And he decided, since I was their guest, he was going to do a Bordeaux tasting. Oh. You guys, this man was speaking French. And my French is pretty good, but at that time it was, choppy. I didn't know what he was talking about. But what I knew was I was feeling what he was saying, right? Okay. I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, like, I love the taste. I love more than anything else, because I don't think I understood what I was tasting at that age, but I love the ceremony. I love the conversation. Yeah. And so that was it. I got into wine then, and I was like, I'm all in. I didn't know I was going to make a career out of it, but I knew that it was going to be part of my lifestyle.
That's a fantastic story. Did you do? I love it.
So what did you do? How did you get more into wine when you came back to the States?
So when I got back, while in France, so I was supposed to be in Besançon for 3 months. Ended up staying a year. I was like, I ain't moving now. Yeah, I know.
France will do that to you. I'm still here.
Yes. France will That's do why that when I go, I don't, I make sure I have a reason to come back. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but when I was there, I drank a lot, and but drink to learn and to experience. And then when I came back to the States, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I worked for maybe for a year in Ann Arbor, Michigan, decided to move back to Chicago. And I met a woman. I was working at Bandera restaurant. And I met a woman. She came in to do a staff training. And she just like blew me away. And that was the moment that I looked at her doing the staff training. And I thought, yep, this is what I want to do. So she helped me get a job with a distributor, and I was fortunate because I was selling boutique wines, really high-end, Schaefer, Bollinger, really, just high-end wines.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I did. I can talk a lot, so y'all gonna have to stop me.
Oh no, this is perfect. Because listen, we'll have guests on, and we'll ask them a question, and they'll be like, yes.
Oh no, it's not fun.
We'll be like, okay. We'll be like, so right. We'll be like, so tell us about how you got into wine. Oh yeah, so I bought a bottle at the store and I drank it.
That's it. That is it.
It's about to be a short show.
Yeah, right. We're like, much. Okay, well, thanks for coming on. God bless you. Good night. Like, I gotta get you off because you're killing me.
Yeah.
So, this is how you got into wine. Okay. Tell me about the transition into writing. Like, I know that you also blog and things like that. Were you always writing even before, just on your own, personal journals, that kind of thing?
Well, writing was my first love. It's the scariest thing that I do. Like, even to this day, releasing this book was this painful, scary process because, I mean, it's my business is out there. And
a little bit. Mm-hmm. A little bit.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay.
But so my major in college was theater, and I wanted to be a playwright. So I've always loved to write.
Okay.
Yeah. So that actually came before the love for wine.
Okay, and so with this, same like how you've done with the other part of your career with Shall We Wine, is you put in like your passion, your other loves, and then you kind of like tied them together to make it work for you.
Yep. Yeah. I'm one of those people who, when I have an idea or someone gives me a good idea, because this book was someone else's idea, I cannot rest until it's done, which can be a really cool thing, or it could be like, this girl is crazy. So, yeah. And I think that for me, what I'm always looking for is how do I talk about wine in the way that the consumer gets it? You know, we all have been educated, formally educated with wine, right? So we know the wine speak. Okay, you know, the wine is a deep garnet color. It has a ruby rim. You know, I get this on the nose. And so if I'm saying this to you, you understand the language. Yeah. Most consumers are like, I don't know what you're talking about. You might as well be speaking French. Exactly.
Right. They're like, and I don't care.
Right. And they tell you, like, I really don't care. Is it good? And when should I have it? And so that's part of what I'm always trying to do is figure out how do we have these conversations with consumers? How do I talk to consumers in a way that really makes them connect with wine, that makes them really get what I'm so excited about? So
it's interesting you mention that, because that is literally what you know, we try to do here, like on the podcast, and then like just in our life when we have our various events, when we teach classes, things like that. Because talking about the color of it, talking about rootstock and soil and how much rainfall and sunlight. Listen, the average consumer does not care. They are just like you said. They're like, so girl, what does this taste like? Right. So I'm eating steak dinner tonight. So is that gonna be nice? Right. So I got my man coming over. You think he's gonna like this? This is the kind of thing they want to know. Right. And I like that in your book, which is poetry, you have the way you have the things paired with the poetry and how that goes together. Yeah. I think that'll be that's something nice for people, and that's something that people can kind of understand.
Yeah, they can really connect
understand
with it.
Poetry. Yeah, they can connect with it. They understand it, and it shows how things kind of tie together. When a lot of times people think wine is just this high-end elite thing that's like way over here, but this makes it so much more like approachable. And
yeah, I mean, we can all geek out on wine because it's our love, it's our passion, and you know, we want to know about the soil and you know, the the temperature that year and how it affected those grapes. But we have to be able to speak to consumers in a way that it makes sense to them. And I was working on a new series ages ago, and I remember asking some girlfriends, what do you want to know about wine? Like, if I was writing about wine, what would you want to know? And everybody kept saying to me, when do I drink it? Not what it tastes like, which I thought was interesting. They said, well, when do I drink it? Like, is this a good wine for, you know, dinner with my husband, like you said, or is this a good wine with my girlfriend? And I thought, wow, like, you know, I was missing the mark because I was trying to educate in the way that I was formally educated. And I had to shift the way that I talked about it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, with you saying that, is that kind of the inspiration for how this book became a book of poetry as opposed to short stories, a play, a TV series, you know, or a web series or something like that?
So the first attempt to do a book or a series where wine is the main character or one of the main characters is a blog series I have called Champagne Diaries. And that's what I hope to turn into my next book. But this is Searching for Cloves and Lillies actually was written in 2010. So the poems came before the pairings. In my mind, I had never thought about pairing poems with wines. Like, my mind wouldn't even go there, okay? I happened to be in Galicia last year, and I was talking to these gentlemen who I really respect, called the World Wine Guys. And I was telling them about what I wanted to do with my career, and they said, well, Regina, you really should write a book. And I'm telling you, though, writing is, for me, like one of the scariest things because I feel like, you know, I'm like, everything is out there. And I said, I looked at them like deer in the headlights. I said, I never want to write a book again. It's just not going to happen. It's too much. And they're like, again? And I said, yeah, I have a book. And so we started talking about the book, and I told them about how I came up with the idea. And so all of the poems in the book were written for and about people I met and people I know. And I was sitting with this group of women, and we started talking about our bodies. right? We always do that. I don't like this. I don't like that. My arms are too big. My stomach is too that. And we were all in our 20s and we all looked good.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, like, we're all sitting there talking about our bodies, talking badly about our bodies. So I said, well, tell me what you like about your body. And for each of these women, I wrote a poem based on their favorite body parts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the book came about. So as I was fast forward to 2017, and I'm sharing this story, when I was in Galicia, they said, well, why don't you pair the poems with wine?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was so much what I'm trying to do, right? What I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to do is find a different way to talk about wine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang, I don't think I ever would have thought about it. And it was like a challenge for me too, because I had to reread the poems. I had to reconnect with them. I had to laugh again. I had to cry again.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I had to say, well, which wine brings out those same emotions?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was work.
Right? And then did you go back through and taste all the wines again? Like, let me see what, like, was that the hard part? Because I would think that was kind of difficult. Like, you had the poem, like, you felt that was your emotion, you know, and you had that out there. But then getting this specific wine and thinking about what wine evokes that same emotion within you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a big challenge because I wanted, there was like, some of them are really, really obvious why they work together. Others are very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's like doing any kind of food and wine pairing, right? You can have one opinion about which wine, and this is just my opinion. But it was because I had some, you know, I brought some friends in to take a look at my pairings and say, well, does this make sense? Or here's a wine I'm thinking. I know it works, but I don't know how it works. So I had people like Brian Duncan who said, yeah, you're right, it works, but it works because of this. Or Wanda, what's her new last name? Cole. No,
Cole.
that's not her. That's her new last name.
Nichols. Nichols. That's why I'm like, wait, what is the new last name? Ooh, I always call people by their maiden name.
Okay, I forgot. In the book, I thanked her, but I think I used her maiden name. But, you know, Wanda's a master sommelier, so she helped me say, well, how about this? Did you think about this wine? And so it was like I had the wines, but it was great to have these mentors to be able to talk to about it and to say, does this make sense, or how do I make it more clear?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was work. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna take a sip.
Right.
Why am I the only one drinking?
Well, it's 12:30, so I'm not drinking. Well, almost 1 o'clock now, so I'm not
I
anymore.
was prepared for the show.
And we appreciate that. Get you
it.
in the mood, whatever you need to.
By the way, what are you drinking?
That, yes.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Yes.
So this is a
Crianza
from Navarra.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see it?
Oh, can you hold it up?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Okay, that's different. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Perfect.
big fan of wines from Navarra, and we actually have an event coming up next week with these wines. So I was like, let me start drinking a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Get yourself in the mood.
Right.
Now, I realize what we did not say is, you know, we've talked about your book and talks about the premise behind it. Please tell us the name of your book for our listeners so they will know. Yes.
Okay.
That's right. And hold that up. Yes.
Hold it up a little bit. There you go.
There we go.
There it is.
Okay. So Searching for Cloves and Lillies, the wine edition.
Okay. So since you say the wine, will there be other editions of this as well coming out?
Well, this is the second edition. So the first edition was just the poems.
Okay.
And that got some really great reviews. So the second edition is the wine edition. And I think I'm editioned out after this. I mean,
and that's like the rum edition. The edition.
Oh, don't play with me. The cocktail edition.
Yes.
The cocktail edition. Yes.
See?
Yes.
There it is.
Because, I mean, there are some amazing bartenders in Chicago that can hook you up with some nice cocktails to go
You know what?
Your
you never
poems
know. I like how you're thinking. I like how you think. So,
And then when you take this show on the road to do like your book signings and things like
Your book
that,
tour.
you can do some pairings and
There it
yeah, we
is.
have a couple of events planned. We have the 23rd. It's a private club in the city. Oh, I just booked something for the 18th, but I'll send you all that. We have two in Atlanta and then one in Sonoma. So I'm going to get out there.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to read. I'm
yes.
going to pair and see how it goes.
So,
Very
what is one thing, if you could say there's one thing you want people to take away from your poetry, the pairings, or this book, what would that be?
Ooh, wow. One thing.
Girl, I'm trying to get deep, so you know.
Oh, you want me? Well, see, I can get
No,
you.
you
Okay.
can say whatever. I'm just saying I'm trying to get deep by
No,
asking,
I like it.
like the
Okay, no, no,
hard-hitting
because
questions.
we're gonna go deep. We're gonna go deep.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say two things. I know you asked
Okay.
for one. From a personal standpoint, so we did some focus groups with the book. So when it was almost done, we got groups of women together. I mean, there are male characters in this book. I think men will enjoy the book, but this is a woman's story.
Sure.
So what I got out of those focus groups was vulnerability and the importance of just being vulnerable and how people needed that. Like the women in the group needed a space where we could just cry. Like the first one, people were crying. I was crying. And I was like, oh my God, I was not prepared for this, right? So yes, I think these poems are very vulnerable. And I think that I would encourage people to read them and to be open and to be vulnerable. From the wine aspect, I think it's what we talked about before. It's there's a different way of thinking about wine, and there's a way of introducing wine to your everyday life. And there's a wine that pairs with heartbreak. There's a wine that pairs with laughter. There's a wine that pairs with um, disappointment. And so, how do we think about wine in a way where it's about how we're feeling and our emotions and our lifestyle. So that's what I'd like them to get out of that part of the book.
Okay. Fantastic. Now about some specific poems. Do you have it in front of you in case you wanted to read it? Because I have a question about a couple of these.
Let me put on. Let's look. I'm about to tell y'all my age.
Listen,
Okay,
I could read you. I'm already holding this thing away from me so I could see it. Because up here, no. If I hold it far away, I can see it. Do you mind reading one for us? I'm gonna make a request. Could you read Dot, and then we will ask you a couple questions about that. If that's one that that won't get you, tearing up.
No, not that one. That is actually one of my favorites. So that's page 9. Okay. Dot. Dot is a poem about the end of a relationship when his darkness came to light. My emotional state was like the Allegrini Amarone. It has a dark, intense, and heavy beginning that softens given time. Amarone is made from grapes that are traditionally dried for more than 100 days. Waiting for the seasons of this relationship to change was challenging. But like the 100-day drying process of Amarone, actualization and maturity requires time and patience. So here's the poem. My italic lover breathes cool phrases up my skirt, and summer turns to fall. There is no chance of rain. Only suspicious breezes that carry memories of heat waves. My leaves are electric, stubborn, and refuse to change color. I wish I could shake your confession loose from trees, but keep the lessons and the lovers that helped me pass the seasons you were gone. I squeeze in between parentheses in search of reason, but find that there is a period at the beginning of we. Autumn. A nagging mother who will not let us forget, cries and grunts an inebriated winter. Days are long and laced with curses of summer heat that drive the hyphen between you and me. You offer stories of floods that baptized you anew. Ellipses, I am spring, you propose. but I have lost faith in daisies. They are fragile and withered from rage.
Well.
Right. Like, fun fact, I can't really snap, so this is what you get.
No, I specifically had a question about Dot because out of the poems that you sent us, that was probably my favorite. Where were you? If you want to, I mean, you can answer this question in any way that you want to, but where were you when you wrote this?
Where was I physically, or where was I mentally?
However you want to answer that.
it.
Yep.
So mentally, I knew that there was a heavy secret in a relationship I will not reveal. But if you read closely, the clues are there.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was going to end. But it probably, I have to think, it probably took about a year and a half from this moment before the relationship ended. And the first line that came to me is my italic lover. Because when something is italicized, right, you know something going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that you're paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for a way to describe this man and this relationship and this moment. And when that line came, everything else started. I mean, this one took me a long time to construct because I have all this imagery of punctuation and nature. But once that line came, I started coming up with all of these, what I think are interesting ways to describe how I was feeling, and using punctuation and nature as the catalyst to describe these emotions. So I was like, I was about to hit bottom, but you know how you got the paint on your face, and you look like everything's okay, but inside you know, oh hell no, something's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's where I was.
Okay.
I couldn't get the word out. I mean, I had so many questions running through my mind about this particular one, but like I want readers and listeners to, like, I just want them to buy it so then they can read it themselves and pair the wine with it. But I really like how this wine was paired, just because the process of Amarone, and with it being a process in order to get the grapes ready to be fermented before you even get to the actual making of the wine, and then how that affects the flavors and things like that. And then going into this poem and what it means and the different imageries. I'm just like a complete fan of this. So I'm like, wow, I was really thinking like I need to find some Amarone, but
I know, right?
It's a whole nother thing. I was like, oh, I should be drinking it now, but water.
Thanks for picking this one, because this is one of the ones that I'm most proud of, and I think that, I mean, I did feel like a dried out grape, y'all.
We all been there. I
was just going to say, I'm pretty sure we've all been there. I'm pretty sure we've all been raisins at some point.
Yeah.
Like even like a grape past its prime, but like, no, we still going to try. We're going to just, this raisin, we know it's still something left, sis. There's literally nothing in there.
But something beautiful and expensive and rare comes out of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everything memorable. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Regine, I know you, personally, not just somebody that I talk to on social media and things like that. And no, you're involved in like 5 trillion different things from,
it's all wine related.
Right, it is. But I'm saying all this to say, how do you have time or get yourself even in the mood to write, just in general, whether it's a poem, a journal entry? Do you have 5-10 extra minutes in your day?
So writing is, it's about doing. It's like anything else. It's a practice. So if I psych myself out and say I'm not in the mood, nothing happens, right? But if I say, hey, I've committed to, like, I have to do my newsletter tonight. I'm committed to the newsletter, and I just sit down and do it. It flows. And obviously not everything is going to be, some work will be better than others. But what I've learned about writing is you just have to do it, like everything else. Everything, whether you're doing your podcast, you guys, you're committed to it, right? So you get up and you do it, and that's how writing is. Now, there are these magical moments where I'm feeling some kind of way, and my emotions, or God gifts me a line, right? And that line is so compelling that I have to run to my computer and I have to shut everything down and I have to just get it out and write. That doesn't happen very often. That's why, it is a gift from God. And so when I have those moments, I do shut it down and I do try to get whatever I'm thinking out. But my work is very emotional, so I hide from it. So like I have a series that I did called The Haiti Stories. Girl, bye. I was like, I can't do this, because like I don't know how to write in a way that's not really raw and pulling. But yeah, so I think for me, to answer your question, it really is, I just do it and I make it a practice.
And with you making it a practice, do you need like a specific environment to help you? Like, do you need to light some incense? Do you have to pour yourself a glass of wine? Do you turn the lights down low? Do you have soft water sounds playing in the background? Like what do you need?
So I take a bubble bath. So wine doesn't help. Wine never helps. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. Now, so for me, I know it sounds crazy. Like, I have to do the work. When the work is done, I'll pour the glass of wine so I can review the work. But when I'm writing, I just need to write. But I do some of my best writing in the car. Really? There's something about driving that I just get real creative. So images come to me. If I'm struggling with, a particular poem, like, if I was struggling with a pairing while I was doing this, a long drive would clear my mind and I would be able to get some insight into what I'm supposed to be doing. I get my best ideas while I'm driving. Now, I can't pull over and write. I've done that. I pull over and jot a few lines down. Church is a good place for me too. I haven't been to church in a long time, so if my pastor sees this, he's gonna be like, "She a lie."
Right. No, that's what just I'm like, no, I've been going to another one. Like,
right. The devil is a lie.
I've been reading the Bible.
Right. Like I got the Bible app. It's fine.
Right. But that's also a place where I feel very creative and relaxed enough where I will jot down some lines because certain images will come to me. Yeah.
Okay. And it's interesting you said that you do the wine after, you don't do that while you're writing. I actually write drunk. Like I get my best idea. Fun fact or true confession. I think this is more of a true confession.
Yeah, that's okay.
That like I legit write drunk. Like when I have written like things that I've been like completely drunk and like write them, and then I edit sober. Like I'll look back at it the next day, like, wow, this was kind of good. I mean, I don't understand what these last two words are because you kind of trailed off in the wrist.
That's interesting that you say that because I don't write drunk, but it's like it's at that tipping point. Like I'm almost drunk, but I'm not. So it's so I guess tipsy. So
well, you know what? I can't because I think, like I said, for me, I don't feel emotional when I'm
you
drunk.
drink. What?
No. So I really don't. And so I think that for me, like I need to be really aware of how I'm feeling in order to write. And so if I'm drinking and I'm relaxed and I'm chilling, like I could be like, girl, I'm good. So I don't feel, and you know what I mean? I feel, but I don't feel.
No, and I understand that. And that's interesting you say that because I won't say it's the opposite, but me, I am very reserved and kind of held back. I will only be completely open and honest if I'm drunk.
Okay.
So if I'm drunk, I will be more honest with how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, like I'm about to tell it. So sometimes I have to watch who I'm around when I'm drunk because I'm like, I'm about to say everything I ever thought and felt. And it's not what you want to hear. I mean, not in a rude way, but if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you because I don't have my filter is like, oh no, we're gone. That was a half a bottle ago. You have passed that.
Right.
And so I am more open and honest with my feelings then. So, and I
Well,
think
it's good.
not I think, but you need that to be a better writer. So that's when
Okay.
I can get some things out. So yeah.
Well, it's good that you know this about yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I've recorded a couple of videos before drunk because I was just like, oh, I got this idea, I'm about to do it. And so I did, and I watched it the next day. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to heavily edit this.
Also, wait, like Tanisha is like the neatest drunk I've ever met. You can't tell.
Clean up?
No, you can't tell if she's drunk or not. There's no swaying, there's no slurring or anything. So I usually can't tell. So
yeah, like you'd have to kind of know me to tell because I'm still governing myself as usual. So depending on whom I'm around, I'm either talking a lot. Like, oh wow, Tanisha is wordy today, or I'm not talking at all, and I'm like in kind of like sitting off to myself and just very quiet. That's because I'm conscious that I'm drunk and that my filter is gone. So like I can't talk. And people ask me, I'm like, you know what? Let me tell you. And
that
you
is
know,
too funny.
I'm like, oh, is that the lipstick you going with? That's not all right. That's fine. You can still like. That's how I'm gonna be. So that's not what we need.
Now I know. I'm gonna ask you questions when you're drunk. So.
Right, and I'm like, no. And then when you see me run away, you're like, okay, well, that's it. You got it. Right. Just drop my glass and run. I'm just gonna take off running. So before we let you go, we have several more questions to ask. But I do want to ask you specifically about your book. What is something that you want every reader, listener of this podcast, and a potential future reader of your book, what is something you want them to know about your book?
I want them to know that it's not what you expect, right? When people say poetry, for some reason, everyone thought this was going to be a light book. There are some light, funny, erotic, silly poems, but there are also some, hard-hitting, emotional. So I think that there's something in it for a lot of different people. It's really about these stories, real people, stories that you're going to connect with, the reader's going to connect with. And then they're gonna walk away with something, not just an emotional experience, but at the end of the book, there's a bonus wine list. So all the wines in the book are listed.
Very nice.
And so now it's like, because everyone on the focus group, they said, well, we want to drink these wines.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, oh, okay. And someone said, yeah, it needs to be a list at the back. So it's going to be this cool, fun list that they can explore. I think this would be super fun for like book clubs because now they can do wine pairings. But yeah, it's a funny, emotional, different book. Something that I don't think anybody else is doing. So that's what I want to know.
I think my question really quick. Can you tell people where your book is going to be available and will there be an Audible version?
Right.
So I am
that we can listen to in the car.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. So there's going to be an Audible version, but for now, it's on Amazon. Okay. It's available. It's $15.99. Please buy my book, y'all.
And we'll have the link up with the podcast and then on the YouTube channel and things like that.
And let me tell you, I had this young lady. Her name is her company's name is Luce, and she makes hand poured soy candles. So we've created 40 Cloves and Lillies candles, and so you can have the full Cloves and Lillies experience. You can read the book, you can get a candle, you can have the wine, but we only created 40s just for the release of the book, and that's on my website.
Amazing.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm a candle, wine, a book.
Right.
You trying to get me drunk? What do you want to know?
All we need now is a man to read the poetry to us.
Yes.
Love it.
And rub my feet because that's
I know that's
thing.
right.
Yeah,
I know that's right.
That's
The Jamaican bass player. Did I send you guys that one?
No.
Oh,
that
sounds like something we need to read.
Huh?
Right. Is that something we need to read before?
That's something we need to read. Yeah.
You want me to read it?
No. That's something that we need to read.
You need to read it. It's a sexy poem. It's a
okay.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have a couple more questions for you, but these are going to be a little different, not about your book, but just to get to know you a little better. Sarita, you want to do these?
Yes. So these are like random rapid fire questions.
Yeah, first thing that comes to mind. Don't think about it too much.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to let you take a couple sips of wine. Right. Take a couple sips. If you need to loosen up.
They're not too
bad.
All right. I went easy on you. And if you come back, they're going to be a lot worse. But yeah.
She did. She did kind of go easy on you.
I ain't scared of you. I ain't scared.
Okay, first one. Do you have a morning ritual?
Yes. I go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do. Yes.
What do you do at the gym?
Right now I'm doing Orange Theory.
Oh, I've heard about that.
I don't wake up early. You love Orange Theory?
No, I heard about it.
It's fabulous. I love it. So I don't wake up early, but that's the first thing I do in the morning. Just get my water and just go so I don't think about it.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Name a guilty pleasure.
Oh, I don't feel guilty about anything. But champagne.
Oh, no.
That
is not a guilty. No.
Oh, what's it?
No.
Like, my guilty pleasure is like trash TV. I watch a lot of horrible shows. But
she does.
They're so bad, but I can't stop watching them. They're really bad.
And mine is like I eat Reese's Pieces in bed. That's like my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
So.
You guys, I might need to do something else. Guilty pleasure? Shoot,
There's no snack that you like.
I got one. I got one. Bacon popcorn.
What is that? Okay. What's that?
Okay, I'm gonna hook y'all up. So you make your popcorn, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you fry like 2 or 3 pieces of bacon. Then you chop the bacon, you put it in your popcorn bag and you mix it. Then you take a little bit of that bacon grease and you pour it in there and you mix it again. That is one of the most delicious snacks you'll ever have.
Ma'am, I can see that being a serious situation.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That is my guilty pleasure.
Good answer.
Yes. And I might have to. No, I can't. Maybe when I get off the podcast. Okay.
I might be doing that tomorrow.
It's so good.
I'm finna go buy some bacon.
You have lardon over there.
Yeah, and that's oh my God, why are you in my head? I was thinking like that would be bomb with some lardons. So yeah, and I got some movie theater butter popcorn.
Ooh.
Because America.
Yeah, thank you, America. God bless you.
Yes, people bring it to me. They're like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "Popcorn."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
I actually have someone who was just in town. I have some Garrett's right now, so I'm super excited.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
What is your favorite scent on a man? Oh, that chuckle. Oh, now you gotta tell the truth.
I was gonna say a natural odor, like like his natural, what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Mine was rated a little different, but that's fine.
What did you think I was gonna say?
Yeah, my scent.
Mine. I know that's right. Oh yeah, that's a good
my scent. All right.
Mine. Ooh, like I just had an image. I honestly don't think I have one. I haven't dated someone seriously in a while. Okay. So, when you're dating someone, you kind of figure out which cologne you like on him. The guys I've dated, I think the answer would be mine on his face.
Whoa. Love it.
There it is.
There it is.
Yep. Right. Just a little in the beard.
All right.
Because the beard connected. So just a little.
Wait, is this thing on air? Wait.
We can edit if you need. We won't tell her it's on. We'll be like, no, she was real good. It's fine.
It's so funny. My mom is on Facebook now, and so I don't know when she's stalking me until I talk to her, and she's like, "Oh, I saw you on their Facebook." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, Mom."
And she doesn't comment or like or anything, so you don't know what she sees. Yes, that's typical mom behavior. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Next one. What is your must-have hair product?
Well, as you guys know, I change my hair often.
Yes.
I mean, it's an obsession. Like, I just got this hairstyle, and I'm already thinking about what my next one's going to be. So what I love is, oh my goodness, what is, it is Nairobi mousse, the foam. I feel like all I have to do is put a little bit on and it just gets the curls popping. I love, love, love that product, and it's not sticky. So when I wear my natural hair, that's my thing. When I wear my weave, it's my flat iron.
Okay. What kind of flat iron you have?
Girl, I don't know. I bought it from my beautician. So it's a professional one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Got it.
Thought you about to be like golden hot. Golden hot is
I graduated from golden hot.
Oh my God.
Not really.
I would hope we all. Ooh, those are so cheap. My God.
Golden hot, girl, and the crimper.
And you start to smell your hair.
Yes,
burn?
Exactly.
Yes.
Listen, and back in the day, I thought that's how I knew it was straight. Like if I didn't smell it, like it's not working. Like the curling iron is broken. That's why I have no edges to this day. All right,
girl.
So, true confessions. There you have it.
Okay, so this is the last question. So this is a song and a sip. So imagine you've just had a beautiful day. You're going home to relax. What song might you play, and what will you sip?
Okay, well, this is kind of an easy one. My favorite, one of my favorite love songs is Jill Scott, Let's Take a Long Walk.
Sure.
You're here, I'm pleased. I love that song. That always, because I'm like, that is my ideal relationship. That makes me happy. And y'all know what I'm drinking. You know I'm drinking champagne.
Okay. I was going to say she's drinking champagne. I already know unless she's drinking champagne.
You know I'm serious about my champagne. So that would be... Yeah, that would be the perfect day right there.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right. So anything else? Do you have any parting thoughts? Anything you want to leave us with?
No, you guys are so much fun.
This was fun.
Yeah. So thank you for having me. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And, if you want to talk off the air about the details of some of the poems, I'll tell you off air.
Oh, snap. We might have to have you back for our After Dark episode.
Yes.
We do a couple after, well, it's always after dark for me, but we do a couple after dark where I actually drink and,
Yeah.
And then we do tipsy talk sometimes where we'll like take shots on air and then answer questions and talk about random.
Oh,
wow. It gets real. Yeah.
I've seen After Dark. I haven't seen any tipsy shit.
We did one tipsy talk. We need to do that again. I just have to make sure I don't have anything going on the next day.
Because I can't do shots. I'm too old for that.
I can do shots, but that plural has really come down. So it used to be like, oh, shot.
Right.
Now it's like shot 2. If you hand me a third shot, it's like, you know what? I quit. It's like I have to drink a gallon of water and then take 3 Advil and sleep for a day. Like I can't. I don't have that bounce back.
Yeah, it's electrolytes. No. You need electrolytes.
It's sad. That's what it is. It's sad. But yeah, sorry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And please tell us the name of your book again and hold it up for us just so we can have that as a parting shot.
Okay. Searching for Cloves and Lillies, the wine edition.
Yes.
And also, if you have a website, tell us what the website is and when all of your social media.
Yes.
Okay, so I have 2 websites. It's reginerousseau.com. Do you want me to spell that, or will you have it?
I'll have it up. Yeah.
Okay, so reginerousseau.com and shallwewine.com. On Facebook, I am Shall We Wine. On Instagram, I am Shall We Wine. And then on Facebook, you can also find a page for searching for Cloves and Lillies. When you buy the book, please, please, please go on Amazon and review it because the more reviews I get, the more Amazon pushes my book out. So yes, we're going to play the Amazon game, y'all.
Right. We are. And we can start leaving reviews as early as now.
Now, because you guys have read some of the poems, so you can
absolutely.
Y'all need to get off this podcast and go review my book.
Right. So I'm going to get off this podcast and go to sleep. But then as soon as I get up, then I'm going to make sure I hit that Amazon review because I have some commentary. Yep.
Oh
no, all good. Like,
I'm just trying
just like I tell people that. People are like, oh, you leaving a comment? Yeah, and I ask people to leave comments. I'm like, yes, if you love it, leave a comment. If you don't, then don't tell anybody. Be quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Email me.
Right. Right. I'm like, write it in your diary. Like, we don't have to see it. But yes, again, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure talking with you. Wish you much success with your book. Everyone, go buy Searching for Cloves and Lillies. Get some of the wine. Have yourself a good night. Have your girlfriends over, do book club, or just soak your feet in some water and play some music and read
some champagne.
Drink wine. Yeah,
right.
Well, yeah, drink some champagne or some Amarone. That's gonna be my pick for the evening. Yes, and again, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Hi guys, that wraps up the show. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, like us on SoundCloud.